This is a black flying fox.
Black flying fox.
Oh, he's pretty.
No. The black ones seem to be a little shyer when I go in there.
They're smaller, most of them, these ones, this particular little group.
Mm-hmm.
I've got, the one I read was down in the big cage, and there's nothing shy about her.
No.
Yeah. So they're a different species. They're Tropa selecta.
Stay here for a
Come
minute.
on, show your wings. Stop being silly.
Being shy.
She's being shy. Oh, what are you, boy or girl? Girl.
She's all tucked
But
up.
see, look at this.
Yeah,
Now,
how she's
that's
latched
the
on.
teat. She's on the teat. She's happy.
Yeah.
No, okay, that's replicating on the teeth.
Yeah, yeah. And they often do that.
Yeah.
How
And
long
it's-
do they nurse for?
Well, you can see them on the teat in the wild, 6 months or something.
Mm-hmm.
They have a life, whereas a human, sort of, if you're a flying fox, you spend 6 months of your life pregnant, 6 months lactating, and by the end of lactation, the males will kick the babies off and try and impregnate you again for another 6 months of pregnancy. So that's
Continual.
It's a
every year.
continual thing. And most of the females don't really object that much, although I've got a couple of captive females down the bottom who had one baby and that was it.
Yeah, they didn't want. Yeah.
But in the wild. But the babies tend to stay on mum as long as they can persuade them to hold them. Yes. And often the mothers are still mucking around with them for, back in June when they're pregnant with the next baby. Which is a bit naughty, isn't it? Yes.
Do they stay with the same partner?
We don't know.
No. you don't.
Probably not. It does look like the males are pretty sedentary during the mating season. They set out their territory, they defend their territory, and the females come in and out.
Oh.
So the females tend to travel further. They look for more blossom. They might visit a number of colony sites, and in each one they've got a boy. So they've got a boy in every site.
Oh. Look at that.
Aren't they lucky? Bit like the
and
sailor's got a girl at every
that's
port.
right.
Yeah, it's
That's right.
reversed with them.
But it does look like that. The males are far more. They set up their territory, and that's it. That's
Oh, okay, that's
That's-
interesting.
yeah. They've done quite a bit of work on that.
Mm.
And oh yeah, and I mean it has. There also is a hierarchy within both the males and the females. So the males, the top males, pick the best spot if you're a flying fox, which is probably the highest spot, the best sun, best shade, nice winds. Who knows? But certainly height is important. And then the top ranking females would get the best spot too. So they get the top flight of males. You see. So if you're a high-ranking female, particularly if you're a breeder, if you've got a baby, you're high up on the list.
Oh, okay.
And they can probably tell if you've had a baby that
Yeah.
season. And so you can go to the top spot. So you cop the top male as well when you're travelling around.
Yeah.
But we don't think they're monogamous at
Yeah.
all. Not the boys set up harems of more than one bat. With a breeding male, you might have 4 or 5 females, but they're not necessarily the same females from day to day because they're flying out. Yeah. You're having a bit of a whinge session, aren't you?
Yeah.
This one's only just come in from its foster mum, so it's feeling
Oh.
a bit miserable
Yeah.
because I think she did a lot of cuddling. That's Sue Clissold.
Oh, is it?
And some of these are quite small. She had to hand them back because
She's travelling, isn't
she's
she?
travelling.
Yeah.
But some of they're not that small. The smallest I think is 320 or something, so it's not that small. And they're winged, but obviously don't really want to be. You don't want to be, do you? You just want to be cuddled up. You just have to always watch your face because with this business of trying to climb up.
Find the face. Yeah.
And actually, I've because these cages are relatively small and we've got a lot of bats in them, I bought everybody. Well, I've got a whole pile of safety glasses.
yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah,
Yep.
because I mean, Sue didn't get scratched when the bat flew on her, but she could have been, and it's just not worth your eyes,
Yeah, yeah, it is very sharp.
They don't mean to hurt, do you?
No.
They don't mean to hurt, but it happens. Look at this. Oh, you big wuss. Do you know that? You're a big wuss. But they're very easy animals to look after.
Yeah.
Once you get the hang that they're upside down, they're easy. We have a very good success rate. We have, in normal years, we run to about a 95, 96, 97% success rate.
Wow.
And that's from getting them from really bad condition often right the way through to release. This year, I haven't worked out our stats yet. We've had a lot in. We have lost a few because they're in such poor condition. They seem to be very susceptible to infection. So I think I've probably lost overall probably about 10 from infection.
Yeah.
But we've had a shocking year, absolutely shocking year.
Now, an average year, not this year, you take in about how many?
It's a bit tricky. From the local area, we'd probably get about 30 babies.
Yeah.
But because we've got so many bat carers, and I've got about 50 vaccinated carers.
Wow.
We've always got capacity. We can help out elsewhere. So if people have been getting heat stress elsewhere or something, often it's very spasmodic. So you've got maybe, for example, a couple of years ago, the casino colony went down as a heat stress. No one else was affected. There wasn't any other problems with any other colonies, but they ended up with 500 babies.
Well.
So groups all over the state took some.
Yeah.
So, and that's fairly typical. So, on average, we probably release about 100 a year.
Yeah.
And that's probably one of the bigger release sites. So.
This year, would you say, with all the heat stress, would it be almost double?
Oh, it's double.
Yeah.
It's at least double. Could be more. I'm not, because my problem is from our area, not 30, from our area, we've probably got 150.
Big difference.
So that's different. On top of that, we've taken 30 from Nowra when they had problems. We've probably taken at least 30 from the Hunter area. We've probably taken at least 30 from the Singleton area. And now I'm getting queries from people all over the state wanting to release because there's not a lot of release facilities. I think there's only about 7 release cages, of which quite a few of them can't release because they've got no habitat in which to release them. So I narrowly escaped having to release the Nowra mob. Well, no, National Parks Remember said, "Oh, I've heard you can doing a release. I think there's 250 an hour. Can you release those?" Not in one fell swoop, but we're going to spread them out. But it's just the fact that there's not a lot of release programs.
Yeah.
And I'll release my mob first, and the ones Sydney's hasn't got that good a release facility. Virtually nothing south of Sydney is active.
Wow.
So the Nowra mob are coming up. A lot of the Sydney mob are coming up. I just got a call from a guy who's a zoo, is involved in a small zoo, and he's got 7, 8 he wants me to release because he's collected them.
Yeah.
So I have no idea how many we're going to have. There's been far more than 200.
Now, when you say they're not active, is it because of the fires or because
Well, there's no
of
habitat to which to.
there's no habitat.
Well, that's what's the problem with Nowra. They've got no habitat down there, and they've got a food shortage. So what food is being taken by flying foxes in the area? But the flying foxes are coming in. The adults are coming in 200 grams to night. So they're obviously not
stressed and
they're
thin
stressed. So there's no point in adding another 200, 300, 400 to the collection. Yeah. Look at this. They're not difficult animals to rear. They're placental mammals. They don't provide anything like the challenges a lot of the marsupials provide.
Yeah.
And they basically just want mummy, don't you?
Yeah.
Mostly they've lost mum. The injuries are more of a problem. The injuries amongst the adults. I've got It's quite horrific.
Yeah, yeah. So on top of all the habitat loss, you have colonies moving up and around trying to survive, and then dealing with netting issues or urban
Well,
issues.
when I was talking to the lady from Nara the other day, I was talking to her on a Wednesday, and she'd had 16 adult rescues since the Monday.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this is heartbreaking. What are we gonna do?
But the interesting thing about the blacks is that they never used to be down here. They really only came into this area last February.
Oh, really? That soon? And then with all the heat stress. Yeah, and the habitat loss.
I got the first, because we had food here.
Yeah.
We had food, and that's it was amazing. We had one lot of blossoming after another from February onwards, where everybody else had no food.
Yeah.
So we ended up with these gigantic colonies down here, which is why we got a lot in.
Yeah.
See, under my wing, there's
Yeah.
a teat under there. Well, she's convinced there is.
Yeah, she's gonna keep looking for it.
Yeah, they always head that way,
Yeah.
and they love it. Are you happy there? Are you?
Mm-hmm.
She's
Very happy.
I'm teat. I'm on mum.
Very comforting, though. Huh?
It's lovely.
It looks.
I've actually got a
comfortable.
lady who's a bat cuddler, because I get a few of these little ones that just want to be cuddled.
Yeah.
And she comes in and says, "Have you got a bat for me to cuddle?"
Yeah.
And so she trots off and cuddles a bat for a few hours. She reckons it's the best job around.
Yeah. Pretty good.
But you didn't say you wanted to be cuddled when she here, so she went away without a bat. She did. She did, didn't she? But yeah, they like, because I like this for quite a few of them.
Yeah.
So
Definitely more cuddly than an owl.
they are. They are. They're beautiful. But see how they got the bald legs? No fur on their legs.
Yeah, and that's because they're used to the warmer climate.
Well, they're adapted more for tropics.
For tropics.
The tropics.
Yeah.
They don't do very well on a heat stress. They preferentially die during heat stresses. It's very sad. Very sad.
What's the average lifespan for? I'm sure it's different captive versus wild, but
Well, we were aging using teeth rings, a student of mine, and we didn't get any or very few animals above 7
okay.
in the Sydney area. But in captivity, I've got 20-year-olds in my cages.
Oh yeah.
So
They're always special. They understand more. Huh?
yeah, so that's sort of
Cool. Well, thank you.
yeah. So that's.
I'm in love with that one.
I know, she's gorgeous. She's gorgeous.
I'm like, I wore the wrong shirt. Great shirt when I got pooped on. but
Yes.
Not so much of a great shirt
Well,
to cuddle with.
The trouble is, I mean, they're the ideal things to wear because they've got lots of grippy
Yeah.
things. We put them inside out. They're just normal sweatshirts, but they're hot.
Oh yeah, they're hot, and you're
It's
working with them in the
36
summer.
degrees. You sort of, So people have been thinking of other things, sort of ponchos that are made of polar fleece and everything.
Yeah,
But they really like this sort of thing.
yeah.
They
Seems
like
perfect.
Yes, and it makes them feel secure.
Yeah.
Look what I've got.
Oh.
Baby. A big bag.